Coming up on City Spotlight, we are talking Charleston. We'll talk with the Mayor of Charleston, Dr. Brendan Combs, Charleston City Manager, Scott Smith, Charleston City Planner, Steve Pamperin, and Trail Advocate, Brendan Lynch. We'll discuss the Governor's Hometown Award that Charleston received this past fall for their work on the Lake Charleston Trails. We'll also talk about what's next for the Lake Charleston area and other ongoing and future projects for the City of Charleston. We're focusing on Charleston next on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. And welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. Today we are talking all things Charleston. Today we welcome back to the program the Mayor of Charleston, Dr. Brendan Combs. Welcome, Brendan.
Thanks for having me, Ramin.
And the City Manager of Charleston, Scott Smith. Welcome back, Scott.
Thank you.
Glad to have you guys on, and I would say the end of 2017 ended nicely for the City of Charleston. In October, you guys were a recipient of the Governor's Hometown Award, and I want to ask you right off the top, and we'll have Brendan answer first. What does that award mean? What does that award mean to Charleston?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, it's a, it's a depiction of just how fantastic of a community that we have. I mean, this isn't just, I tell people and they're always like, oh, congratulations to you, but no, it's congratulations to us. I mean, it's representation of town that I grew up in and you grew up in, Scott grew up in. I mean, so many of us have, or that have moved here and now call Charleston their home. This is just, it's an award to show just how when the citizens of Charleston decide to come together as a team, and I mean, the things that can happen, and it's quite an honor, we'll put it that way.
Okay. And Scott?
Well, I think it showcases the collaboration between the public-private partnership, obviously with the volunteer corps base that we have, and the great relationship we have with the university and, in the city, the partnership that we have, and this really signifies that partnership and the collaborations. And, like the mayor said, it's an accomplishment for the community. It's a bright spot at a time when things have been kind of challenging, to say the least. And so something we're all proud of. I think our communities are proud of it. And they've really rallied around the projects, I guess I should say. And this is just a real proud moment for Charleston. So. WEIU was able to help collaborate a little bit with the video that was presented, and I know from having gone to Springfield with you guys and receiving the beautiful sign that will be posted eventually in the near future, that this is the start of things to come. So what kind of momentum does this give to Charleston, Brendan?
I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much going on in Charleston, and a lot of times we tend to focus on one or two things, but there's a lot more going on than we even realize, and sitting from the seat that I'm in and watching all the fantastic things that are coming out of this, not just the trails, but how much it's bringing to Charleston in itself. I mean, it's just something that I want to capitalize on. I want to see Charleston continue to capitalize on this. I want to see the trails continue to grow, and all the plans that we have out at the Lake Island tract area. This is just, like I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg, and instead of seeing this momentum and cheering, now's the time to say that's a good win, it's a fantastic win, but let's continue this, let's keep the ball rolling.
And Scott, what does this kind of a recognition help? How can Charleston use that recognition moving forward?
Well, I think from a tourism standpoint, like the mayor pointed out, these types of recognitions, honors, awards, definitely put Charleston on the map. We know that Charleston's on the map in the biking community, but this kind of award is definitely going to attract people to Charleston to come see what we have to offer and build upon that. Like the mayor said, we've got a lot more planned for the Lake Island track and the trails around the lake. And again, I think this is a great place to start, but we've got a lot more that we have planned that we'd like to get accomplished out there. So,
congratulations on the City of Charleston winning the Governor's Hometown Award this past October. had a couple months to soak it in, and that this is something that we were able to achieve, and we'll talk more about that in our next segment here on the show. But
before you move on, I do
Yes.
want to say thank you personally for all the efforts and all the things that you put into, and I know you'll get into that more, but I personally want to thank you because you did a phenomenal job with that video.
well, like the whole project of getting the lake trails getting going with all the work that's been done, it was a totally team effort. So congratulations to us all, like you said.
Thank you.
Very good. It's not the only thing that happened in 2017, as folks are seeing this episode at the start of the new year, 2018. What are some other things that are highlights, the accomplishments for Charleston in 2017?
Well, a couple things. We like to always talk about public works projects, and of course, there's been a lot of work at the lake, and our crews have spent a tremendous amount of time at the lake. We're working on the pavilion as we speak. We finished a tremendous amount of concrete and paving work out there. Again, a lot of focus has been on the lake. And there's more to come there. We're, like I said, we've got a new playground going on in the spring and early summer, and just lighting and electrical upgrades and a lot more going on at the lake. But we also spent a tremendous amount of time on 10th Street. Underground utility work and replacement and repair from Lincoln Avenue, eventually all the way up to Monroe. And so our crews have been very busy down there with underground utility water and sewer main, as well as sidewalk, and of course, anytime you replace the sidewalk, you're also into driveways and driveway entrances. We've had quite a bit of retaining wall work that our crews are completing right now as we speak, and then we'll come back in the spring and pretty that up with new asphalt. So
It's been quite an undertaking. I've drive that part of the way, taking my kids to school and back and forth, and it's been going on for quite a while. So
Yeah.
good to see it completed.
big project for us. So.
Any other thing you want to highlight from 2017 in the city of Charleston?
Oh, I'm sure I'd leave a few things out if I did, but I think those are the things that we hear a lot about is obviously the lake and the public works stuff. But we just came off a very successful Christmas in the Heart of Charleston event up on the square. Very, very pleased with how that turned out, and I could touch on things in almost every single department if we had the time, but just very appreciative of the team of efforts for all departments and divisions of the city. It's been a very, very good year for everybody. So.
Didn't hurt that the weather was a little bit warmer than last year's for the Christmas in the Heart of
Right,
Charleston.
no, that did not hurt.
It was a very enjoyable time for all.
Yes.
You guys recently had a retreat, and what are the purposes of those retreats, and what did you guys accomplish?
Well, the purpose of the retreat is to give staff an opportunity to convey a message to the city council members every year. We spend all day on Thursday with updates and reports in the form of a presentation to the council by each of the department heads. It's a progress report on activities for the year. There's a lot of stats and information provided, and then obviously each of the department heads have an opportunity to share, some of their success stories, challenges, things, food for thought for the future, and then we spend Friday usually talking about those things and prioritizing and giving council the opportunity to provide a lot of input. Again, we're just staff, and they're the policy makers, so they ultimately make the decision on things that we'd like to do. But it's a real nice give and take. It gives us an opportunity to evaluate, how we're doing and compare our progress with the prior year planning retreat items, tasks that council came up with. And so I think it's a very, very important process from a planning standpoint for the entire organization annually. So
a lot of here's what we've done,
Right.
Here's what we need to work on type of
right,
things.
absolutely.
Very good. And that occurs, the retreat happens once a year? Do you guys
Yeah,
have
once a year, over 2 days, typically second or third week of December, just depending upon everybody's schedules.
Okay, very good. Moving forward, we're showing this to the audience here in the beginning of 2018. What are some things that we can look forward to in the early months here of 2018 in the city of Charleston?
Well, I know, again, I've already touched on the 10th Street project. We'll be wrapping that up and getting our crews ready for the final phase of that, which will be a complete mill and overlay of 10th Street. And then we'll obviously be back out at the lake, wrapping up the pavilion project, and then we'll move on and transition over to install the new playground, which will take some time. So again, there's a lot more work left to do out there that'll take the better part of the summer next year. And then we've got a whole host of other projects, a lot of sidewalk work that we intend to get done and knock out again next year. And we're going to be applying for some additional grants. I'm sure you're going to talk about this with Steve and Brennan a bit, but obviously the ITEP bike path project that we're working on. We're in the midst of a bike plan project with Wright, Illinois, and a collaborative partnership there with the Lumpkin Foundation, and rolling that plan out and getting some input from council on that as well. So there's just a lot going on that really will kind of get underway after the first of the year. So,
Brennan, I'll hear your thoughts on the new year, excitement of a new year, and obviously, again, riding off of the momentum of a great honor that you guys received in the last part of 2017.
Yeah, 2018, I'm really looking forward to it. Just, like we said, the momentum that we have going, and from working with Steve Pamperin and Alex Winkler in the planning department, they're getting, more calls. It seems like every week there's several new calls coming in, people talking about wanting to do more business here in Charleston. And really, I want to focus on here in 2018 of capitalizing on what we have in these trails to also say, hey, Charleston's open for business. You got a business idea, come to us. Let's sit down, let's talk, because this is drawing so many more people to Charleston. There's more opportunities. And, winning the Governor's Hometown Award, and we already know Charleston, Dr. Glassman said something at the retreat. We always say we're kind of like a hidden gem. Well, we no longer are hidden. I mean, it's out there. So let's tell everybody, just how special Charleston is. And then, we have a very proactive council. Like I said, open for business. I want to continue to see growth out at the lake and capitalize on that to just better the city and make this a better place for all of our citizens and Eastern. That's the other big part of it is Dr. Glassman and I's relationship and how close the town and gown relationship has become. Probably as far back as I can remember, this is the tightest Eastern and the city has been support-wise. So I want to just continue that momentum and carry this on to through 2018 and on into 2019. Just take this momentum and run.
It's been great to see you and Dr. Glassman, who kind of both came into your respective roles around the same time, and where things have gone for Charleston and EIU at the same time. So look forward to the continued growth in 2018 and obviously the great success in 2017. For sure. Mayor of Charleston, Dr. Brennan Combs, and Charleston City Manager Scott Smith, appreciate your time here on City Spotlight.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And coming up next year on City Spotlight, we'll talk more about Charleston and the Lake Charleston Trails, as well as the Governor's Hometown Award with Steve Pamperin and Brendan Lynch. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Charleston. And we're back here on City Spotlight as we continue this episode on Charleston. We're going to talk more about the Lake Charleston area, and we welcome to the program Brendan Lynch. He's a trail advocate and a bike and hike in Charleston. Welcome back to the program, Brendan.
Thanks, Ramin. Good to see you again.
Glad to have you on. Last time we had you on, we were out at the lake trails there. Kind of a windy day, if I recall.
It's a considerably better atmosphere in here,
Absolutely.
I'll have to say.
And first-time guest here on the program, the City Planner of Charleston, Steve Pamperin. Welcome to the program, Steve.
Thanks for having me, Ramin.
Icebreaker question, first-time guest. Can you tell us about yourself? How long have you been with the City of Charleston?
I've been with City of Charleston, with the city since 2006. Actually been in Charleston since 1994, but with the City of Charleston since 2006, City Planner since 2008, and it's a wonderful job. Love to be there and love the community and everything that goes on here. So,
all right, very good. We're going to talk in depth here about the Governor's Hometown Award and the work done at the Lake Charleston Trails, which kind of really got going in 2014, if I'm correct. And Brendan, you were kind of really a part of a group that really got that going. Your reaction to everything that has been done and then culminating with this award?
It's been overwhelming. It's been a real snowball effect in which one idea can build upon the other and build upon another, and more people are wanting to contribute, and it's developed a sense of a community and continuity between citizens of the town and hikers and bikers. And my reaction to getting the award was, I was overwhelmed. I really felt like it was a validation of all the hard work that was done in the trails. But most importantly, after it settled in a little bit, receiving the award is a reminder. And it's a reminder of the partnerships that were built, of the social capital that was placed into the project, in which hikers and bikers and councilmen and planners and public works officials and people from nonprofits and Charleston Charitables each rolled up their sleeves and contributed in a distinct and meaningful manner. So again, while the award really does feel good, especially as one of the people who used a shovel to dig the trail, the validation of the relationships that we built is, and that reminder is far and away the most meaningful aspect of the whole project so far.
Steve, can I ask you a few questions about the process of applying for this and why the City of Charleston went for this Governor's Hometown Award?
Yeah, so the big thing that we looked at is we wanted to give the community and the volunteers recognition for all of the work and all of the efforts and everything that was done. And Mayor touched on it earlier. This is an award for the community. It's not for, there at City Hall and the folks there, but it's for everybody who has been involved, with the trails. From the first builders of the trails, to the people picking up trash and all the volunteers we have along the way. I believe, if my memory serves me, we estimated some 350 volunteers over those 3-year period, 5,000 hours of volunteer service. So for us, we wanted to show and give appreciation to all the volunteers and the community, for everyone who was part of that. So it started with a formal application, a written application. We were selected then to do an oral presentation in front of judges. Worked obviously with you, and we can't thank you enough for all the efforts of WEIU and everybody here. Put together a really nice video package for that oral presentation in front of judges, and we were selected one of 14 across the state of Illinois, I believe, to be recognized for the Governor's Hometown Award. So really, it was a really exciting and really great thing for the City of Charleston, and just thrilled that the community can be part of that. And the last part I'll put in that is, we do get a road sign and some other things that come with that award. And one of the things that'll mean a lot, I think, to us up at the city are going to be all the volunteers will be able to drive by that road sign, hopefully put a smile on their face and know that they were part of that process and they were part of the trail building, and look at what it's done for the city as far as positive momentum and a lot of great energy. And really, the city has become a regional attraction, for lots of folks, whether you're bikers or hikers or whatever you might want to do out there, but we have become a regional draw for a lot of people.
And that sign will be going up maybe sometime after this program is aired in early January, and that'll be a real great, like you said, a great sense of pride when people are driving into Charleston on, I believe, Route 16 is where it's going to be?
Yeah, so we're going to put the main sign on Route 16, but if you do go visit the trails, our Public Works Department, Street Department, was nice enough to make miniature signs, replicas of the larger sign. So at each trailhead, there's a sign that represents the Governor's Hometown Award. So as folks are getting onto the trails, they can see that sign and put a smile on their face as they're walking in the trails. And one of the cool things that we're doing is all the folks, and we invite anybody to come up to bike and hike our City Hall, where the road sign is. We're asking people who have donated their time and volunteered to sign the back of the sign as a permanent memorialization of their efforts, so that way those folks know they can be on the sign as well. So come up there and sign your name and take part.
One last question before we talk about what's next for everything trail-wise, whether it be Lake Charleston or between Charleston and Mattoon. I want to ask you, Brendan, just about all the work of so many people, whether it be the biking community, the trail community, City of Charleston community, the EIU volunteers. This really was a team award.
Yeah, it absolutely was a team award, and it's been a team project. When we originally began building trails, we joked to ourselves that we wanted to make them to be too big to fail. And that's kind of a motivator when it's February and it's really not quite that fun. and then we realized that to be too big to fail, we needed a lot of people. Staining split rail fences, building trails, working with EIU professors and deans emeritus getting art, working with the Lumpkin Foundation getting a comprehensive bike plan. What happened was the project became so textured and layered that it required the team to expand. So the sense of space is important, and it's not just the space around the lake, but the space of people's talents and interests and generosity of time that's been brought to the project that's contributed vastly to its meaning.
All right, very good. All right, so what's next? Lake Charleston area, I think Scott Smith alluded to in the previous segment that a playground is in the works. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, there's a lot going on at Lake Charleston itself. So obviously we have the 9 miles of trail that go around the lake and the areas around the lake. But we're also looking at expanding some of the amenities adjacent to the lake. We do have a new pavilion that's in construction right now, and hopefully we'll finish up here in the next few months. A nice playground that's going to be on the west side of the pavilion, and just all the infrastructure improvements we've done out there. We've concreted our boat ramp. We've added additional parking out there, and there's just a lot of different things going on at the lake itself. And maybe to expand on that, Charleston right now is looking at the Lake Charleston Trails as one piece of a very, very large puzzle. And with that being said, as Scott mentioned earlier, we do have a comprehensive bike and pedestrian plan, transportation plan that is in the works. And what we're looking at is how we can start linking all of these things together inside the city of Charleston and eventually get those linkages onto Eastern's campus. And then after we get obviously the city figured out, then we'll be linking that up to the Lincoln Prairie Grass Trail, which is a 12-mile trail between Mattoon and Charleston. And we do have grant money to pave that trail. So we can go into a whole lot of detail of all the other things going on. But the joke, not the joke, but the plan that we have for this is that one day we'll be able to be on the Amtrak. Students will come down from Chicago on the Amtrak with their bikes, get off at the Mattoon station, ride their bike to Charleston, and get straight to campus. So to be able to make these links and to link those to the Lake Charleston Trails, and to have designated paths and shared lanes and markings and signage within the city just shows that we're a progressive town and that we encourage the use of bikes. And one day a goal hopefully will be that city of Charleston will be designated a bike-friendly community. And right now, statewide, there's maybe a dozen communities that are designated as bike-friendly communities. That is our goal, is to add to that number. So,
Brendan, obviously you are a major biker yourself. You work with Bike and Hike in Charleston, and the trail work just in and around Charleston, the biking community, the real excitement of the future of all the trail work that is to be done still.
Yeah, absolutely. People are incredibly enthusiastic, and one of our early mottos and approaches was we wanted our brand to be quality, and we wanted our ethos to be inclusivity. We wanted many uses for many users. And so Steve alluded to the Prairie Grass Trail getting paved, which is an ITEP grant, one of the many alphabet soup grants we've gone after, and that will allow a recreational rider on, say, a hybrid bike or a family to be able to ride and then move themselves and their family safely through the city of Charleston with the comprehensive bike plan to see the sculptures over at Sister City Park. And if you want to do mountain biking at Lake Charleston, then it's certainly there for you. So what we're trying to create is something for everybody. And while obviously I am bike centric, it's a focus of mine, it's a passion of mine. We're wanting to be more than just that, and that's why we've taken great steps to get public art, to create a kind of estuary between the university and the town. We have a newly formed hiking club. Major steps are being taken in the actual trail development, and this is kind of boring and granular, but with like plantings, where we're trying to make very, very positive environments for birders. We have plans to encourage kayaking. So while obviously nothing makes me happier than hearing the word bike, or actually more bikes makes me more happy, but our approach has been very, very inclusive. So while we frequently talk about the bike path and the bike trails, we want it to be much more than that. And New York has Westchester County that people from the city go to, or there's Amish country, or San Francisco has Napa Valley. But we want to be the leader in outdoor recreation in downstate Illinois, where you can get on a train in Chicago and you can come down and see these thousands of acres. And this is completely different than anything that's in Schaumburg or the city of Chicago or Rockford or Peoria. So that's something that's a guiding principle for us. And back to your initial question, the primacy of your question, the excitement, that excitement is our motivation. And that's driving the ball with Steve, myself, with Brandon, with Scott, with council, with the Lumpkin Foundation, is there's a tremendous amount of momentum, and we're believers in momentum. And we're excited, and we fully intend for 28 to be a absolutely remarkable year.
Congratulations again on winning the Governor's Hometown Award in 2017 for the City of Charleston. All the work that's been done, total team effort, and a lot of excitement moving forward with all the trail work to be done. So thank you, Steve Pamperin, the City Planner of Charleston.
Thank you.
And Brennan Lynch, trail advocate and of Bike and Hike in Charleston. Good to see you again, Brennan.
Thanks, Ramin. The pleasure's mine. It's always the highlight of my day seeing you.
Thank you so much. And that'll do it for this City Spotlight episode on Charleston. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. City Spotlight is on YouTube. Past episodes can be viewed on East Central Illinois towns that have been featured on City Spotlight. Just search on YouTube City Spotlight with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the recent episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.